Taiho Kim stood at the viewing window of the Galactic Defense Academy, watching the stars. 30 years since Earth joined the Galactic Federation, and still the sight of distant solar systems took his breath away. Behind him, the sounds of combat echoed through the training hall. "Instructor Kim, they're saying it again." Jun Park rushed up beside him, his normally calm face showing rare anger. Taiho sighed. "What are they saying now?" "That humans cheat, that we can't possibly be as good as our scores show." Jun pointed to a group of blue-skinned Arvani cadets who were glaring at the human trainees. Taiho turned from the window. At 45, he was one of the older human representatives in the academy. His black hair showed touches of gray, and the scar across his left cheek had faded to a thin white line. Before joining the Federation, he had been Special Forces on Earth. Now he taught combat to species from across the galaxy. "Let them talk," he said. "Our fighters' skills speak for themselves." The Academy's main training hall was massive, with 30 different combat rings where beings from hundreds of worlds practiced. In the center ring, a young human woman named Hae-Nu Lee was sparring with a tall, four-armed alien. Despite her opponent's advantages, Hae-Nu moved with speed and precision that left the alien struggling to keep up. "Look at her go," Jun said proudly. "Raw talent." Taiho frowned. "Raw is right. She has no discipline. All power, no control." As if to prove his point, Hae-Nu landed a strike that sent her opponent crashing into the mat with more force than needed for a training match. The alien's teammates rushed forward, angry words in multiple languages filling the air. "That's the third incident this week," Taiho muttered as he strode toward the commotion. Before he could reach the center, his comm unit beeped. The message was simple: "Admiral Mach requests your presence." Immediately, Admiral Mach's office reflected his status as one of the highest-ranking officials in the Federation fleet. The walls displayed holograms of distant battles and star charts. The Admiral himself sat behind a curved desk, his gray skin and large eyes typical of the Nelvan species. "Instructor Kim," Mach said without looking up from his screen. "Your human fighters continue to surprise us." Taiho stood at attention. "Thank you, Admiral." It wasn't a compliment. Mach's large eyes finally focused on Taiho. "How do you explain the dominance of human fighters in our rankings? Your species joined the Federation mere decades ago. Your technology is primitive. Your planet is unremarkable." "With respect, Admiral, Earth isn't unremarkable to those who evolved there," Taiho replied. "Our gravity is higher than standard. Our climate zones more extreme. Our history filled with conflict." Admiral Mach waved a three-fingered hand dismissively. "Yes, yes. Every species claims their homeworld shaped them uniquely. Yet the data doesn't lie." He pulled up a holographic chart showing combat scores by species. Humans were at the top, despite being one of the newest additions to the Federation. "The Centennial Combat Tournament begins in 2 weeks, Mach continued. "You are aware of its importance?" "Yes, Admiral. It determines leadership positions within the Federation Defense Force for the next century." "Precisely. And for the first time, Earth will have representatives competing." Mach's expression was unreadable. "I selected you to lead the human team." Taiho couldn't hide his surprise. "Me? I'm a training instructor, not a competitive fighter anymore." "Your combat scores remain exceptional, and you understand Federation protocols better than most humans." Mach leaned forward. "Unless you feel your species isn't ready for such responsibility." It was a challenge, thinly disguised. Taiho straightened his back. "We're ready, Admiral. Who will be on my team?" "Park, obviously. The undisciplined one, Lee. And 2 others of your choosing." Mach turned back to his screen. "That is all." As Taiho turned to leave, the Admiral added, "One more thing, Instructor. Many important figures are uncomfortable with Earth's rapid rise in our ranks. They will be watching for any sign that humans don't belong here. Do not give them that satisfaction." The human quarters were located in the outer ring of the Academy, a subtle reminder of Earth's status in the Federation hierarchy. Tai-Ho called an emergency meeting with Jun and Henul. "The Admiral has selected us for the Centennial Tournament," he announced without preamble. Henul's eyes widened. At 25, she was the youngest instructor at the Academy. Her fighting skills were remarkable, but her temper often got her in trouble. "Us? Competing against the elite fighters of the Federation. That's..." She searched for words. "A chance to prove ourselves," Jun finished. Always the diplomat, Jun had been Tai-Ho's friend since their days in Earth's military. "Or a trap?" Tai-Ho nodded. "Maybe both. We need to select 2 more team members. Min from security and Dai from medical," Henul suggested immediately. "Min's hand-to-hand combat is the best on the station, and Dai understands alien physiologies better than anyone." Tai-Ho was surprised by her quick analysis. Perhaps there was more to Henul than raw talent after all. "Good choices. I'll contact them both." Tai-Ho pulled up a holographic display of previous tournament events. "We have 2 weeks to prepare. The competition includes combat trials, tactical challenges, and endurance tests." Jun studied the footage. "Look at the Thruxy team from last time. Their exoskeletons give them tremendous strength. And the Arvani can move faster than human eyes can track," Henul added. Tai-Ho watched his team analyzing the competition. Every species has advantages, but they also have weaknesses. Our job is to find them. Training began at dawn the next day. Tai-Ho pushed his team harder than ever before, designing exercises that would prepare them for alien opponents with very different physiologies. By the end of the first week, they were working together seamlessly. Even Henul was showing more discipline, channeling her natural aggression into controlled power. During a rare break, Tai-Ho found himself again at the viewing window, looking at the stars. "Beautiful, isn't it?" The voice belonged to Admiral Mok, who had silently joined him. "Yes, Admiral. A good reminder of why we're here." "Indeed." Mok stood beside him. "Your team is progressing well, but I wonder if you've heard the news from the border sectors." Tai-Ho turned. "What news?" 3 outposts have gone silent in the past month. The last one managed to send a partial transmission before communication was lost. Mok's large eyes reflected the starlight. They reported seeing technology unlike anything in Federation records. "A new species, or a very old one." Mok seemed to be choosing his words carefully. "The history of this galaxy is longer than any single civilization's memory." Instructor Kim. Before Tai-Ho could ask more questions, alarms blared throughout the station. Red emergency lights flashed in the corridors. "Security breach in Sector 7, announced a calm voice over the comm system. Tai-Ho's blood ran cold. Sector 7 was where the human quarters were located. He ran, Admiral Mok calling after him. The corridors were filled with confused Academy personnel. Tai-Ho pushed through them, his combat training taking over as he sprinted toward his team's quarters. The door to the human section had been forced open. Inside, Tai-Ho found chaos. Furniture overturned, personal belongings scattered. Jun was helping Min to his feet, blood trickling from a cut on Min's forehead. "What happened?" Tai-Ho demanded. "We were attacked," Jun said grimly. 4 of them, wearing stealth suits. They disabled the security systems first. Tai-Ho looked around frantically. "Where's Henul?" Min pointed to the far corner, where Henul sat on the floor, her training clothes torn and bloody. But she was smiling fiercely. "I got one of them," she said, holding up a strange metallic device. "Ripped this right off his suit when he tried to grab me." Tai-Ho took the device. It was like nothing he had seen in Federation technology. "They weren't trying to kill us," Jun explained. "They were looking for something. Scanning our equipment." Security officers finally arrived, followed shortly by Admiral Mok. The Admiral's eyes narrowed when he saw the device in Tai-Ho's hand. "The tournament begins in 3 days," Mok said, his voice tense. "This incident must not distract you." "With respect, Admiral," My team was just attacked, Taeho replied. That seems more important than a competition. Nothing is more important than the tournament, Mok snapped. Then, composing himself, he added, it represents the stability of the Federation itself. If humans wish to truly join our community, you must participate. Successfully. As the Admiral left, Taeho turned to his team. Are you all okay to continue? They nodded, even Hanul with her injuries. Good, because I don't think that attack was random. Taeho held up the strange device. Someone doesn't want humans in this tournament. And I intend to find out why. Outside the window, the stars continued their silent watch, indifferent to the conflicts of the beings who traveled among them. In 1 week, the Centennial Combat Tournament would begin, and Earth's fighters would face their greatest challenge yet. 3 days after the attack, Taeho and his team stood in the Great Hall of the Central Federation Station. The Centennial Combat Tournament would begin here, with fighters from over 100 worlds gathered to compete. The human team looked small next to the towering Thruxi warriors and the multi-limbed Arvani fighters. Everyone's staring at us, Hanul whispered. Her injuries from the attack had been treated, but she still moved with caution. Let them stare, Taeho replied. We're not here to make friends. A soft chime sounded, and the massive holographic display in the center of the hall flickered to life. The face of Admiral Mok appeared, magnified to giant size. Welcome, noble warriors of the Federation, Mok's voice boomed. For 100 cycles, this tournament has determined the finest fighters in the galaxy. Today, we welcome new competitors, representatives from Earth. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Many aliens turned to look at the human team with doubt or amusement. The tournament consists of 3 trials, Mok continued. Combat, tactics, and endurance. The winning team will hold positions of leadership in our defensive forces for the next cycle. As Admiral Mok explained the rules, Taeho noticed a human woman approaching their group. She wore the blue uniform of the Science Division. Instructor Kim, she said with a quick bow. I'm Ji-Woo Choi, Xenobiology Department. Dr. Choi, Taeho nodded. What brings you to the tournament? Ji-Woo glanced around nervously. I've been studying why humans perform so well in combat scenarios. My findings might help your team. Before she could continue, a loud horn signaled the start of the tournament. Ji-Woo pressed a data chip into Taeho's hand. Meet me later, she whispered. This information is sensitive. The first trial was combat. Each team member would face an opponent from another species in one-on-one matches. Hanul was called first. Her opponent was a Thruxi warrior nearly twice her size, with natural armor plating covering its body. The crowd grew quiet as they entered the central ring. Fight with control, Taeho reminded her. Find the weakness. Hanul nodded, her face serious. When the signal came, the Thruxi charged at her with surprising speed for its size. Instead of dodging completely, Hanul moved just enough to avoid the main force of the attack while grabbing the alien's arm. Using its own momentum, she pulled it off balance. The crowd gasped. The Thruxi's fighting style relied on overwhelming force. No one expected a smaller opponent to use that force against them. For 5 intense minutes, Hanul kept this strategy. She never tried to match the Thruxi's strength. Instead, she used its power against it, targeting the joints where the armor plates connected. Finally, with a precise strike to the back of its knee, she brought the massive warrior down. The arena fell silent, then erupted in shouts and calls. Some cheered, others protested. Hanul walked back to her team, breathing hard but smiling. Nicely done, Taeho said. You controlled your power. One by one, the human team members faced their opponents. June used quick thinking to defeat a telepathic Medusan. Min's security training helped him spot the weakness in an opponent with invisibility abilities. Even Da, their medical expert, won by understanding his opponent's biology better than the alien itself. By the end of the first trial, Earth's team had the highest score. The other species were no longer staring with amusement. Now they looked concerned. That evening, Tai-ho met Ji-woo in a quiet corner of the station's garden dome. She brought holographic displays and data charts. "I've been comparing human physiology to other species," she explained. "What I found might explain why we excel at combat." She activated a hologram showing different planetary conditions. Most spacefaring species evolved on worlds with specialized environments. The Thruxi developed on a high-gravity planet, giving them strength. The Arvani come from a low-oxygen world, making them efficient breathers. "And humans?" Tai-ho asked. "Earth is unique." Ji-woo's eyes lit up with excitement. "Our planet has extreme variations. Deserts and ice caps, mountains and oceans, all on one world. Humans didn't specialize. We adapted to change itself." She showed another chart. "Our gravity is higher than standard, so we're naturally stronger on Federation stations. Our atmosphere has more oxygen, giving us better endurance. And our history." Ji-woo paused. "Earth has seen more warfare than any known planet in the Federation. While other species were developing unified planetary governments, humans were still fighting each other. It's horrible, but it gave us thousands of different fighting styles and combat strategies." Tai-ho thought about this. "So our advantage isn't one special ability. It's being decent at everything." "Exactly. Aliens evolved with specific strengths, but they have clear weaknesses. Humans are balanced." Ji-woo smiled. "And there's something else. Pain tolerance." "Pain tolerance. Humans can keep fighting through levels of pain that would incapacitate most species. It's why Han-Newell could continue after the attack. Our bodies release chemicals during stress that other species don't have." Tai-ho looked at the data with new understanding. "This could help us in the tournament, but I'm still worried about that attack." The device Han-Newell grabbed. "Have you seen anything like it?" Ji-woo's expression darkened. "I took a quick look. The technology is unlike anything in Federation records, but it reminded me of artifacts found on dead worlds, planets where civilization suddenly disappeared." Before Tai-ho could ask more questions, his comm unit beeped. It was June. "You need to get back here." Jun's voice was tense. "Admiral Mok just announced changes to tomorrow's trial." The second trial was tactics. Teams would face simulated battle scenarios, with judges scoring their decision-making and strategy. "The change is simple," Admiral Mok announced to the gathered competitors. "Instead of known scenarios, teams will face a new simulation based on recent encounters at our borders." Tai-ho exchanged glances with Jun. This was no coincidence. When Earth's team entered the simulation chamber, they found themselves on a virtual Federation outpost. Warning lights flashed, and emergency messages played over the communication system. "Unknown ships approaching," a computerized voice announced. "Defensive systems offline." Tai-ho quickly organized his team. Jun, try to restore communications. Min, security protocols. Day, check the life support systems. Han-Newell, with me to the observation deck. The simulation was incredibly realistic. On the observation deck, Tai-ho and Han-Newell saw strange ships surrounding the station. They'd moved in patterns unlike any Federation vessel. "Look at how they position themselves," Tai-ho noted. "They're targeting communication arrays and weapon systems first." Han-Newell studied the ships. "They know exactly where to hit us, like they've studied Federation stations before." As the simulation progressed, Earth's team made decisions that confused the judges. Instead of following standard Federation protocols, they improvised. When the virtual attackers boarded the station, Tai-ho ordered his team to abandon defensive positions and instead set traps in unexpected areas. "What are they doing?" one judge asked another. "It's chaos," the other replied, "but effective." By the end of the simulation, Earth's team had protected the virtual station with minimal casualties. They exited the chamber to stunned silence from the judges. One judge, a tall Medusan, finally spoke. "Your tactics were unorthodox, but successful," Tai-ho replied. Success is not the only measure in the Federation, the judge said coldly. Order and protocol matter. Despite their performance, Earth's team received lower scores than expected. They fell to third place in the overall standings. They're trying to push us down, Haenul fumed as they left. Maybe, Taiho said, or maybe they're afraid of what we represent. He looked at his team. Tomorrow is the endurance trial. It will test not just our bodies, but our minds. As they walked back to their quarters, Taiho noticed a figure watching them from the shadows. For a moment, he thought he saw Admiral Mok, but when he looked again, the figure was gone. That night, Taiho couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about what Ji Wu had said about dead worlds, and about the strange technology from the attack. Something bigger than the tournament was happening, and somehow Earth was caught in the middle. His comm unit lit up with a message. It was from an unknown source, and contained just 4 words. They fear human adaptability. Taiho stared at the message for a long time. Tomorrow would be the final trial, and he sensed it would test them in ways no one expected. Dawn broke over the Federation station as Taiho gathered his team for the final trial. The endurance challenge was known to be the most difficult part of the tournament. Third place isn't bad, Jum said, trying to sound positive. We're still in the competition. We should be in first place, Haenul replied. Her confidence had grown through the tournament. Those judges marked us down because we didn't follow their precious protocols. Taiho looked at his team. Despite the challenges, they had performed beyond expectations. Today isn't just about winning, he told them. I believe there's more happening here than a simple tournament. He showed them the message he had received. They fear human adaptability. Who sent this? Min asked, his security training making him suspicious. Unknown, Taiho replied, but it connects with what Dr. Choi told me about why humans excel at combat. Our adaptability makes us unpredictable. Day, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. The simulation yesterday. Those ships matched descriptions from the border attacks Admiral Mok mentioned. Before they could discuss further, an announcement called all competitors to the main arena for the final trial. The endurance trial took place in a massive environmental chamber that could simulate different planetary conditions. Teams would face increasingly difficult environments while completing tasks. Admiral Mok addressed the remaining competitors. This final trial will test your limits. Only those who can adapt to changing conditions will succeed. Taiho noticed how Mok emphasized the word adapt while looking directly at the human team. The trial began with standard conditions. Each team entered the chamber and started completing basic tasks, moving supplies, repairing equipment, solving technical problems. Then the environment began to change. First came increased gravity. The Thruxy team, naturally strong, handled this easily. But when the temperature dropped rapidly, they struggled. Their homeworld was warm, and they had little experience with extreme cold. The human team felt the increased gravity and cold too, but they adjusted their approach. When the gravity increased, they used leverage instead of strength. When the cold came, they conserved energy and shared warmth. Look at the humans, one spectator said. They're not the strongest or the fastest, but they keep going. Hour after hour, the conditions changed. Heat replaced cold. The air thinned. Simulated storms created poor visibility. One by one, teams began to drop out. By the 6th hour, only 3 teams remained: Earth, the Arvani, and a team of Nelvan fighters, Admiral Mok's species. Final phase, announced the trial controller. Radiation storm plus low oxygen. The chamber filled with harmless but painful radiation that made skin burn and eyes water. The oxygen levels dropped to barely breathable levels. The Arvani team, with their efficient breathing, handled the low oxygen well. But the radiation affected their sensitive skin, and they were forced to withdraw. Now only Earth and the Nelvans remained. The Nelvans struggled with the low oxygen but pushed through the pain of the radiation. Both teams continued completing tasks, though slower than before. "They're incredible," Zhou said from the observation deck. Both teams should have collapsed by now. As the 8th hour approached, a strange thing happened. The Nelvan team began to coordinate their movements more efficiently, almost as if they were communicating without speaking. Their performance improved despite the harsh conditions. "Something's wrong," Taiho told his team. "The Nelvans are getting stronger, not weaker." Hanul, who was working nearby, looked closer at their opponents. Their equipment, it looks like they have some kind of breathing assistance hidden in their uniforms. "They're cheating," Min said angrily. Taiho shook his head. "We can't prove it. We just need to finish the trial." As the humans pushed forward, completing task after task despite their exhaustion, the crowds watching began to cheer. Many had come expecting to see the humans fail, but now they were witnessing something remarkable: pure determination. In the final minutes, both teams raced to complete the last task, repairing a complex power system while enduring the worst conditions yet. The Nelvans, with their hidden advantages, moved quickly. The humans, relying only on their natural abilities, pushed their bodies to the limit. When the signal came ending the trial, both teams had completed the task. The judges would need to review performance details to determine the winner. As they exited the chamber, Taiho noticed Admiral Mok watching them with an unreadable expression. Instead of looking pleased that his species team had performed well, he seemed troubled. Later that evening, as the judges deliberated, Taiho received an urgent message from Jiwu asking to meet in the science lab. When he arrived, he found her with another human, a man he recognized as Sun Wukang, an Earth military strategist who now advised Federation forces. "We've been studying the device Hainul took from your attacker," Sun Wu explained without greeting, "and we found something disturbing." Jiwu activated a holographic display showing the device. This technology is similar to artifacts found on planets where all advanced life suddenly disappeared. In Federation records, these are called the silence events. "What does this have to do with the tournament?" Taiho asked. Sun Wu's face was grim. The last transmission from the border station mentioned ships with similar technology. "We believe an ancient species thought to be extinct is returning, one that specifically targets emerging military powers." "Like humans," Taiho realized. "Exactly," Jiwu confirmed. "Your performance in the Federation has drawn their attention. The attack on your quarters wasn't random. They were studying you." "We need to warn the Federation," Taiho said. "We tried," Sun Wu replied. "Our concerns were dismissed as human paranoia. But there's something else. We found evidence that someone high in Federation leadership is hiding information about these attacks." A chill ran through Taiho. "Admiral Mok." Before they could discuss further, alarms blared throughout the station. A voice announced, "Security breach in Central Command. All personnel return to quarters immediately." Taiho's comm unit lit up with messages from his team. Hainul's was the most urgent. "The Nelvan team is missing, and I saw Admiral Mok heading toward the restricted docking bay." "I need to go," Taiho told Jiwu and Sun Wu. "Keep investigating. If what you're saying is true, the tournament is just a distraction from the real threat." As Taiho hurried through the corridors toward his team's quarters, the station lights flickered. Emergency protocols activated, sealing certain sections. When he reached his team, they were already gearing up with whatever makeshift weapons they could find. "The judges announced the results early," Jun informed him. "The Nelvans won by a small margin." "That doesn't matter now," Taiho replied. "We have bigger problems. I believe Admiral Mok is somehow connected to the border attacks and the assault on our quarters." "Why would he do that?" Dai asked. "Maybe he's working with this ancient enemy," Min suggested. "Or maybe he's trying to prevent us from learning about them." Hanul, who had been checking the station's security feeds on her comm unit, suddenly gasped. "Everyone needs to see this." She projected an image from a camera in the docking bay. A ship unlike any Federation design was attaching itself to the station. The design matched what they had seen in the simulation. "They're here," Tai-ho said quietly, "and I think Admiral Mach let them in." At that moment, the station's main power shut down completely. Only emergency lights remained, casting long shadows in the corridors. "What do we do?" He Newell asked, looking to Tai-ho for guidance. Tai-ho thought about everything they had learned, about human adaptability, about their unique perspective on conflict, about the fear they had inadvertently caused in an ancient enemy. "We do what humans have always done," he said, his voice steady. "We adapt, we fight, and we show the galaxy why Earth's fighters are feared across the stars." As his team prepared to move out into the darkened station, Tai-ho knew that the real test, far more important than any tournament, was just beginning. The station's emergency lights cast red shadows as Tai-ho led his team through the darkened corridors. The alarms had stopped, leaving an eerie silence broken only by distant sounds of movement. "We need to reach the command center," Tai-ho said quietly. "Find out what's really happening." "The main routes will be watched," Min pointed out. "We need another way." Jun pulled up a station map on his comm unit. "Maintenance tunnels, designed for repair drones, but humans can fit." Tai-ho nodded. "Good thinking. Day, contact Ji-woo and Sun-woo. Tell them to meet us at the science lab. We'll need all the help we can get." As they moved toward the nearest maintenance access, He Newell stopped suddenly. "Listen," she whispered. They heard footsteps, too many to be station security. The footsteps had a strange rhythm, unlike any Federation species. "Hide," Tai-ho ordered. They ducked into a supply room just as a patrol passed by. Through the small window in the door, they caught glimpses of the intruders, tall figures in dark armor, moving with precise coordination. Their helmets had no visible eye slots, just smooth metal with glowing patterns. "The ancient enemy," Jun whispered, "just like the stories of the Silence events." When the patrol passed, they continued toward the maintenance access. Min worked quickly to open the panel, and they slipped inside the narrow tunnel. "These tunnels run throughout the station," Min explained as they crawled forward. "We can reach any section without using the main corridors." They moved as quietly as possible through the maze of tunnels. After 20 minutes, they reached an access panel near the science lab. "I'll check if it's clear," He Newell volunteered. She carefully opened the panel a crack and peered out. All clear. One by one, they emerged into the lab. Ji-woo and Sun-woo were already there, along with someone unexpected, General Tavik, a senior military leader known for his skepticism about humans. "Before you react," Sun-woo said quickly, seeing their surprise, "General Tavik is on our side. He's been investigating Admiral Mach for months." The tall, gray-skinned general nodded. "I suspected Mach was hiding information about the border attacks. Now we know why." He activated a holographic display showing the station. Red dots indicated the locations of intruders. "They call themselves the Harvari. They were thought extinct for thousands of years." "Why are they here?" Tai-ho asked. "The Harvari target civilizations they see as threats," Ji-woo explained. "They study their enemies, learn their weaknesses, then attack." "And they see humans as a threat?" He Newell asked, sounding almost proud. General Tavik's expression was grim. "Not just humans, the Federation itself. But humans caught their attention because of how quickly you've risen in our ranks. Your unpredictability concerns them." "And Admiral Mach?" Jun asked. "A collaborator," Tavik said with disgust. "He believes working with the Harvari will spare his own species. He's been feeding them information, including data about human combat capabilities." Tai-ho thought quickly. The tournament. It wasn't just about military positions. It was to showcase different species' fighting abilities for the Harvari to study. "Precisely," Tavik confirmed. "And now they're here to eliminate the Federation leadership and any species they consider threatening." "Where are they now?" Min asked. Tavik pointed to the largest concentration of red dots on the display. The central arena, where the tournament concluded. They've gathered Federation officials and team leaders there. How many station security personnel remain? Taiho asked. Few. Many were disabled by some kind of technology the Harvari used. Others are trapped in sealed sections. Taiho looked at his team. Despite their exhaustion from the endurance trial, determination showed on their faces. We need a plan, he said, not just to fight, but to save everyone in that arena. In the central arena, Admiral Mock stood beside a Harvari leader. Federation officials and team captains from the tournament were held under guard, surrounded by armed Harvari soldiers. The Federation has grown too powerful, the Harvari leader announced, its voice translated by a device on its armor. Too many species united, too many worlds connected. This creates imbalance in the galaxy. You can't possibly defeat the entire Federation, one official shouted. We don't need to, the Harvari replied calmly. Only its brain. This station holds the leadership, the best fighters, the top minds. Without you, the Federation will fracture. Admiral Mock stepped forward. Those who cooperate will be spared. The Harvari only want stability. From her position hidden in the observation level above the arena, Hanul watched the scene through tactical goggles. I count 30 Harvari in the arena, she reported through her comm unit. Plus Mock, and maybe 5 Nelvan guards. Any sign of their ship controls? Taiho asked from his position near the arena's main power systems. Negative. But their leader has a different armor design. Could be the control unit. Across the arena, Jun and Min were positioning themselves near emergency exits. Dae was with Ji Wu and Sun Wu in the environmental control room. Everyone ready? Taiho asked. Affirmative responses came from all teams. Remember, we're not just fighting for ourselves now, Taiho reminded them. We're fighting for every species in that arena. Begin on my mark. Taiho took a deep breath. All his years of combat experience, all the lessons of Earth's long history of warfare, had prepared him for this moment. Mark. The plan unfolded in perfect coordination. First, Dai and the science team activated the environmental controls, filling the arena with thick fog, a simple water vapor that would block the Harvari's advanced vision systems but allow normal sight to adjust. Next, Taiho triggered a power surge that overloaded the arena's light systems, creating a strobing effect that further disoriented the Harvari. As confusion spread among the invaders, Hanul made her move. She dropped from the observation level directly onto the Harvari leader, using the same technique she had employed against the Thruxi in the tournament, using her opponent's size against them. Simultaneously, Jun and Min opened the emergency exits and began guiding Federation officials and team members to safety. The Harvari, momentarily confused by the sudden environmental changes, struggled to maintain control. Their highly coordinated fighting style faltered when they couldn't communicate clearly. In the chaos, General Tavik led a group of loyal security officers into the arena, targeting the remaining Harvari soldiers. Admiral Mock, seeing his allies losing control, tried to escape. Taiho intercepted him. Your betrayal ends here, Taiho said, blocking Mock's path. You don't understand, Mock hissed. The Harvari can't be defeated. They study, they adapt, they return stronger. So do we, Taiho replied. The fighting was intense but brief. The Harvari, despite their advanced technology, weren't prepared for the unpredictable, adaptive fighting styles of the humans combined with the organized response of the Federation forces. Hanul managed to disable the Harvari leaders' control systems, disrupting communication with their ships. Without coordination, the invasion faltered. As the fog cleared and emergency systems came back online, the remaining Harvari were surrounded. Their leader, now captured, stared at the humans with what seemed like curiosity. How? It asked simply. Hanul smiled. You studied our techniques, our strengths, but you missed something important about humans. What? "We're at our best when things go wrong," she said. "Chaos isn't our enemy. It's our natural environment." 1 week later, the Federation Council convened an emergency session. The Harvari threat had been contained but not eliminated. Their ships had retreated, but intelligence suggested they would return. General Tavik, now acting head of Federation Defense, addressed the Council. "The recent attack has shown vulnerabilities in our defense strategies," he began. "We've relied too long on technology and standard protocols. The Harvari exploited this predictability." He paused, looking at where Taiho and his team sat. "It was human adaptability and unconventional thinking that saved this station. Therefore, I propose a new Galactic Defense Academy, one based on Earth, where Federation forces can learn these valuable skills." The motion passed with overwhelming support. For the first time, Earth would hold a central role in Federation defense. After the session, Taiho found General Tavik waiting for him. "Instructor Kim," Tavik said formally, "or should I say, Commander Kim. The Council has approved your appointment as head of the new academy." Taiho looked surprised. "Me? But there are more experienced." "More experienced, perhaps," Tavik interrupted, "but none who better understand what we're facing. The Harvari will return, stronger and better prepared. We need to be unpredictable, adaptive. We need to think like humans." As Taiho considered this responsibility, he saw his team watching him with pride. Haenul, once undisciplined, now stood tall with newfound confidence. Jun, Min, and Dae. Each had proven their worth beyond any tournament scoring. "I accept," Taiho said finally, "on one condition. My team comes with me." Tavik nodded. "Already arranged. The galaxy needs Earth's fighters now more than ever." As they left the council chamber, Haenul walked beside Taiho. "So it turns out the galaxy's greatest fighters really do come from Earth," she said with a smile. "Not because we're stronger or faster," Taiho replied, "but because we never stop adapting." Above them, through the station's viewing window, Earth glowed blue and green against the blackness of space, a small planet that had just changed the course of galactic history.